My first rodeo.
Okay.
Ready?
Excellent wind, whenever you want, we can go.
You say?
3, 2, 1.
Launching.
We're good. Yeah, nice, Christo.
Later, bud.
Thanks, buddy.
Very, very well. Lisa, Joyce in the air with the gin. Okay, thank you. Joe, amazing control, amazing, very good.
Started paragliding. Well, I started skydiving in like 2007 and ended up moving to Montana and then picking up speed flying. That's how I got injured, was through speed flying. So broke my neck and a bunch of other things, crashing into the side of a mountain with the speed wing. Waited a few years after that, after the spinal cord injury, for recovery, and then got back into paragliding and a tiny little bit of speed flying in 2014. Paragliding, it's kind of fulfilling in a lot of ways, right? Like there's a presentness that comes from paragliding. Get in the zone, everything else kind of disappears. You don't have to really think about work. You can't really think about anything else because what you're doing is pretty important and pretty consuming. There's a community that surrounds it that's fantastic, really giving, really loving, really caring about making sure everybody's safe. There's a travel aspect of it that brings you to really beautiful places like where we are in Colombia. I mean, it's just a lot, but I think at the end of it, when you bring it all together, for me, it's an amazing way to kind of hit the reset button to get back to everyday life and focus on work and focus on the other parts of life that you have to tackle.
My name is Brendan Doyle and I'm from Fresno, California. We're in Colombia this year for a Wheels for Flying event. It's a big adaptive flying event where we bring people together of all different walks of lives and different disabilities, all to fly together and have a friendly competition and just a meeting of like-minded, like-ability pilots.
I got involved with this project, which is a huge project now, because I flew tandem. I fly tandem actually. This is my job, my first job. And I was flying a couple of years ago, I think around 10 years ago, with a guy in winter. He was in a wheelchair, in monoski actually, he was skiing. And I flew with him and I felt in love. It was something new, something new. I normally let every pilot, every passenger of mine to take the control, and I give the control to this guy, and I realized how high was the sensitivity, how sensible he was with the control of the glider, and immediately I got like an illumination. I said, we have to do it more and more and more.
Yeah, I found it pretty interesting when I got into it after my accident to re-enter the sport, because I was, for a while, like I noticed online that there was a couple of people that I found videos on that were paragliding from a wheelchair. So I was like, okay, it's possible. But I guess the negative side of it, or what I thought was going to be negative, was it was going to be logistically kind of a nightmare to help me go flying. I would need a lot of help from a lot of other people, so I'd lose some independence in the way that it was from before. I mean, the big story is I was comparing it too much to what it was like before I started using a wheelchair. When I got back into it, it was shocking because getting back into the air was simple. Yes, I need some help. I need some people to push me off the mountain and help me hook in my wing and just help out with the process. But that part of it's actually kind of fun. There's like a little team aspect of it. And then once I'm in the air, like the first flight I did solo, I got in the air and I looked around and I was like, everybody's doing this. Like there's not much happening with these. I'm like, we're all playing the same game. And I was like, this is the most inclusive activity I could have found. Like we are literally all flying together. And then fast forward 10 years and, you know, the bulk of my flying has not been with other people with disabilities. It's been pretty much with other people without disabilities. And we're all just flying together, having a great time. It's really hard to find an activity like that that brings that level of inclusivity in the disability world. Like it's challenging to find that. So it's special in that way for sure.
I met Julian, which is an amazing guy. He's a local guy. He was not flying. He had a couple of tandems, like 3 tandems flight. He was loving flying, but yeah, he never had the chance. So I met him. He was working the bar here in the landing, So giving beer to all the pilots and listen to the stories. And one day he came to me and said, I know that you have a project I would love to learn. And I was like, yeah, I asked a little bit the story. And then I said, okay, we need a chair. So I had to find a chair. So I went to north of Colombia, in Barranquilla, with one priest. And we knocked the door of a guy that owns a huge company. And we asked, look, please, I'm able to do it for free. I'm gonna teach him, but I need help to buy the chair. So he was really helping to buy the chair. And I found a guy that was giving a second-hand glider. And then the other guy was giving the rescue. So basically I teach Julian how to fly from zero, and yeah, last year he became the champion of the first competition, international competition of paragliding. So really, really nice story.
Julian, he was the champion last year. He was in a wheelchair and he was in this community for many years, you know, for a long time. And then well, he always helping us, and he knows, and he was kiting, and we teach him and help him. And then we decide to give him a wing. I give him a wing, and somebody with Lucio, somebody donate the wheelchair for Julian. And then it was amazing. It was one of the most beautiful moments in my life, you know, landing this guy and teaching me how to fly. Every time he landed, we cry, and it was so amazing, you know, see this guy. He's smiling his life, being not able to walk, but he was able to fly and be feeling what we all talk about it. Because he was in this community and we all talking about flying and talking, and he's been doing tandems and everything, but not his life in his hands, you know, when you're in control of the glider.
My disability is a neurodegenerative condition. It started in my late 20s. It's called spastic paraplegia, has some similarities to multiple sclerosis. And so in my late 20s, I began to lose sensation and feeling in my toes, and it started working up my body. It's a progressive condition. And as I was losing function, I was looking for things to do. And I ended up a lot of the people that introduced me to sports were people that had spinal cord injuries. And I was actually at a triathlon, and Joe Stone, a friend of mine, was actually at that race taking photographs. And he was chasing me at the end of the race and was photographing me, and at the end we met, and he also told me he had just learned how to fly the year before, and it was kind of just one of those synchronous moments in life, and kind of been great friends, flying buddies ever since.
My name is Daniel Velasco. I am from Colombia, from the Cauca state, the city of Popayán. Now I live in Hawaii. I was born and raised here, about 100 miles south of this location, and I took my first flight here at Pia de Chinche over 20 years ago. So I grew up here, and then I moved to the States and ended up in Hawaii since the year 2000. After high school, I had the opportunity to go do an exchange program at a summer camp in North Carolina, and I took a trip to Kitty Hawk to see the Wright Brothers Museum and the hill where they first flew, and it was a very iconic place and moment, and it inspired me to free flight, and I wanted to come back with the hang glider and start flying here. And when I came back, I actually met the first group of paragliders that were in my hometown, just kind of starting to fly for the last couple of years. So I instantly fell in love with the convenience of the paraglider, and was able to start getting involved with it. Yeah, so I had an accident back in 2011. I had been the previous year on the Big Island, and then I had just moved to Maui, and I was treating the place and the conditions as if it was somewhere else. I was just not fully aware. I was still you know, very inexperienced. I mean, I still am. You know, it's a constant process of trying to learn. There's a lot to learn. It's a slow learning process. But I just mixed things up in my mind, made a wrong decision, made a wrong turn towards the mountain, and I crashed to the mountain. Just bad weather, bad thinking, bad flying, and pretty much everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. It really wasn't all that crazy of a crash. I feel like it should have been a twisted ankle, but it turned out to be the worst possible outcome. I think I hit the worst possible little spot on the ground that I could have hit. So combination of bad luck and inexperience to put it in short, but all good, moving on.
Oh yeah, dude.
Danny has landed spacesuit you, and if we can find him a ride back up and he wants to go, I'll send him on, okay? Copy?
Oh yeah, buddy. We got birds, we got paragliders. Wheels for Flying, man, they stepped in with a great idea. And Lucho and his team said there's a lot of really good wheelchair pilots out there, people that use wheelchairs that are paragliders. But they're not talking and they're not together. And there's no competition. There's no community really around it. And so they stepped in and said, why don't we create one? Let's do it in Colombia. It's a magical place to fly. And let's see how many people we can get here to Colombia that all have disabilities and get them flying together. Let's have a competition. Let's have a month of flying. There's a lot of logistics that go into that. And so, and I've personally got a little bit of background in like organizing events and stuff, so I see it. And I'm so grateful to be on the other side to just receive it, because it's what they do to make all of this possible for us is amazing. From the transportation to the getting us all up to launch, to having volunteers to help us with launching and landing. If we land out somewhere not the main landing zone, you know, who's going to get us? How are we going to get out of the fields? That's all, for the most part, all that's dialed. So yeah, these guys are working really hard. And then Project Airtime stepped in to help out a little bit. They're a United States nonprofit supporting people with disabilities go paragliding with tandems and learning how to fly solo and that sort of thing. So they're very much involved, trying to help grease the wheels to make this whole event happen. And then what's cool, last year was the first one, this year's the second. Now that we all kind of know the lay of the land, like some of us pilots kind of stepped in to help organize a little bit. So that's that community aspect that I love so much, is like once you kind of see what the needs are and where you can help, like people just start stepping in. And you see randoms that are here that like see what's going on and they're like, I kind of want to get involved. Yeah, and they jump in and they help load chairs up into the trucks and help people transfer in and out of them. There's a lot that goes on, and yeah, my hat goes off to Lucho and his team for even having the mindset to see that there was a way to break down some more barriers to help further this sport. That's a big task to take on. It's awesome.
So the event we organize in Colombia is one of the many activities that we do, and it's a primary now in Colombia. Like, it's about 1 month. So the first week basically we use it to just let them comfortable with the place. The second week is a competition week. So we did last year the first experiment. This year is the second experiment, where we improved a lot all the logistics. We improved a lot all the rules in order to be ready for the next year for the Cat 2 event. Will be FIE, which we are working together with FIE like a lot. We worked a lot during the summer. And then after that one, we will have 2 weeks, separate weeks of thermic training. So the people will have guiding, and yeah, we decided to do 1 month because we know exactly how difficult it is for guys with reduced mobility. They sit in a wheelchair to travel. So traveling for only 1 week or 5 days, it's very stressful. Stressful for them, they need time to recover after flights, and like this, they really enjoy, and actually, we decided together, so it's like a family decision. And yeah, the family is getting bigger and bigger, so yeah.
So I got involved with Wheels for Flying a little bit last year when they were here, and I went up and asked if I could help a whole lot, and then I did, and now I've become part of the organization and I'm doing the scoring for the competition with the help of some others, and I helped get some of the trackers which Air Tribune and Brett Janaway were kind enough to donate the use of for us, which is really cool.
Really what I'm doing here at the event is a support role. I'm helping launch the guys. I'm helping keep an eye on them in the sky, and if they land out, help retrieve them, get them out of the field, and offering just a little bit of tidbits of wisdom that maybe I can throw their way, and you know, I'm picking some stuff up from them as well.
So I'm a supporter, not only for the Swiss pilot, but for all the pilots. So I help laying out the gliders and I help with the takeoffs. And once some pilots are airborne, I'll take off as well. And I fly with all the pilots to see if someone lands and needs assistance. Then I just go land beside him and I can help him out.
My role, I'm one of the volunteers here, helping the guys, taking an eye on the guys when they are in the air. I like to fly together with them, make them feel confident so they can keep on going flying. And if they eventually need to land somewhere outside, not on the landing zone, then come down, land with them, and be sure that they are fine and they had a good time.
My mother, before she passed away, was a above knee and below knee amputee, and of course she was pretty devastated. And she used to love to sail. She became an adaptive sailor for the U.S. sailing team, adaptive sailing team, and I saw how that could really help her out. You know, it really pulled her out of her her depression in her shell. And you know, I've been a staunch supporter of any kind of adaptive sports. You know, I like to fly. I fly the wheelchair at Torrey Pines. I do tandem rides there, and to be able to share flying with folks is pretty magical. So I'm just really blessed to be able to come on out here and share flying and help get these guys in the sky. And once they're in the sky, they're crushing. You know, they're just cruising and crushing, and we're all free like birds. We're all sending super hard, and it's a wonderful thing. You know, so if I can be of any help out here, you know, help get people in the air, it's awesome.
I think I just want to thank the whole team and the whole event, Wheels for Flying. I mean, it's just incredible what they do, and the whole team spirit is amazing, and it's so much fun, and it's just a blast. I love it.
It's a very special feeling. I have to say that seeing how the guys are having fun, how happy they are, the feeling is something very special. Last year was the first time I left the event with a lot of joy, and that's why I said I have to do it again, I have to come again, and this year is exactly the same. It feels very, very worth it.
It's a special event. I don't know. I'm really, really thankful to be a part of it. I get a lot from these guys as well, outside of just, it's not just me helping them, I get a lot from them so far as positivity and taking things in stride. You see them hit like walls and barriers, and they just, like a lot of them just smile through it, where, you know, I stubbed my toe and I'm mad for 3 days. So it's really cool being around these guys.
After my accident, I didn't fly for 5 years. So more or less 2 years ago, I wanted to do it again, and I started to do it again in a wheelchair, and I started to do that with Wheels for Flying. If I compare the experience with flying before my accident and afterwards in a wheelchair, there is a difference. So if you are in the air, the difference is not that big, but all the handling around, like the launch and after the landing, it's much more complicated, and there I really need the help from all the people around, and for me it's just awesome that I have this support to do this sport still now when I'm sitting in a wheelchair.
Very, very light.
Thank you very much for the information.
Yeah, I mean, the weather side of it's all the same as anybody else. So we want good wind, we want the wind coming straight into us, straight up the hill. those elements. We got to look at the weather in all the same ways. So none of that changes. So the language we speak on top of launch before we fly is the same between everybody, which is nice. We might be a little slightly more picky to make it a little extra perfect, just because there's not quite as much room for error. But at the same time, I've done some weird launches with crosswind and stuff like that too. Not that that was smart, but I did it and it worked. In terms of the terrain to launch off of, it's, again, there's no way I can set a limitation on it, right? So like here's perfect. We set up on a flat area and you get moving, the wing comes up over your head and you're able to check it and make sure everything's good and you have time. And then if all's good, you keep running and getting pushed and you go off, kind of drop off really quickly to where you're in the air very fast. Kind of the perfect setup. But I've been on the sides of mountains where it's really steep and it takes a couple of people to hold on to the wheelchair so I don't roll down while we're setting up. And that's a moment of when we start moving, there's no stopping, this has to work. And so it boils down to your risk management.
Nice launch!
And how far you want to push that.
Woo!
And so I'm not as gung-ho like I was back then, but I've got some stories and they were great.
Paragliding gives me so much freedom, peace, fear. It's just the most incredible headspace for me. It's a place where I feel totally alive, totally in the moment, very pleasant. I see it like surfing the sky. I love catching thermals and trying to find the core and trying to drift with it and not lose the thermal. It's an incredible joy that I think perhaps only pilots can understand, but it's just a fascinating activity and it turns out to be the best adaptive sport. Now, I used to do a lot of sports before I was injured. Now I just kind of put most of my focus onto paragliding, and there's no other sport like it. There's not many sports where you can be a disabled person doing an activity just as good as able people and be with them, fly around them, go as far as they can. It's hard to think of many sports that you can do like paragliding, so it's just perfect for us.
Paragliding as a person with a disability does have its own challenges. I'm not going to try to like candy coat that. And having support to get around that is unreal. So the organization I learned how to fly from when I got back into it and started doing it at the wheels is Project Airtime. And I look to all of their mentorship and lessons and everything they've taught me and the gear they've helped me out with and everything over the last decade as to what's got me here. That's what's got me here and allowed me to be flying with a level head and to be smart and safe and all of those pieces that are needed to be in another country and be doing something like paragliding. Not to mention there's a few of us from the US that all came out here and Project Airtime helped us out with the financial support to get here and to be involved in this event, both last year and this year. So, I mean, that's huge. And then I've got a clothing sponsor, Stio. They're based out of Jackson, Wyoming. They're an outdoor clothing company, and they're just psyched on all of this. They just are like blown away by it. And I've been with them for a few years, and so they were psyched to help me out a little bit financially with the travel expenses that I might take on while I'm here as well. And those are those little things that are not needed for everybody, but man, does it help, because living with a disability has additional costs to living. It is a more expensive lifestyle, no matter how you look at it. So if there's a little thing here and there that can give you a little bump to help make something a little bit easier, it is, I mean, I'm beyond grateful for all the support.
So the way I got into paragliding was actually after my injury. I suffered a spinal injury 5 years ago in a skydiving accident, and a lot of people are like always ask, you know, why did you get back into flying after you hurt yourself flying? But for me, it was a pretty easy thing, because when I discovered skydiving, it was kind of an answer to all my questions of what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I had finally found that thing. And when I had my injury, it was almost like all my dreams were kind of snatched right away from me. So it was a pretty tough thing. And initially, into my, less than 1 year from my injury, I had planned to get back into the sky, which I did through skydiving, and I immediately got hurt again. I dislocated my shoulder on a landing, and so that was a huge blow to my spirit and everything. I had these high aspirations to get right back into the sport that I loved, and it was kind of stripped away, and it was a big reality check for me. Like, man, maybe this isn't for me. And it was shortly thereafter that through Instagram I discovered Project Airtime, which is based out of Salt Lake City in Utah, and I saw that they had these flight chairs that people were flying in, and so I immediately contacted them and made a trip out there, and it's a wrap after that. Got flying, and I've been hooked ever since and getting after it as hard as I can.
Wasn't the one I wanted, but it was a flight. I landed safely, took off safely, so we're cooking.
And it started everything like volunteer. We are all volunteer, and of course, the first flight, the first season in Austria, we did fly completely for free. So every flight was for free. I buy the chair. I found the chair, for example. I bought a chair, I bought the material for Austria instead of buying a glider or something for me. So I really believe in this. And then after me, at the beginning, they were saying like, you're really crazy. What are you doing? People in wheelchair and competition, or people in wheelchair and flying, because in Austria was not really common to fly in wheelchair. So we start like this. I start like this at the beginning, and then I got luckily surrounded by very nice friends. And yeah, one after the other, they say, okay, I want to help, and they dedicated a lot of time, a lot of free time, a lot of money, and yeah, doing sacrifice in order to buy a chair, to buy things. And yeah, right now we are working in Austria, for example. We do tandems. Now we do a lot of tandems in summer for guys in the wheelchair. Most of them, they come from, Germany, England, France. So we do tandem, and we decided to keep the same price, just to don't make any difference between a passenger with a wheelchair or a passenger that can walk. This is really the inclusion. And of course, if they don't have money, we have a program in our website. They can click and say, look, we have family problem, and we fly for free. What we did until now, all the pilots, we donated those flights. It was the only way we found without sponsor, because at the beginning nobody, we still have no sponsor. We had to buy chairs, we have to buy material, glider, pay the insurance and everything, and we didn't know how, because we didn't know where to get the money. We tried to ask some government, and it really was not really working, because everybody was scared about the tema. Say, okay, this guy's already in wheelchair, and what happens if they crash? We don't want to be involved in this experiment.
Putting on an event like this and taking on the risk, and I don't necessarily mean just the risk of the sport of paragliding, but what society might say, right? Like to challenge the stigma against disability. Like that's what Project Airtime does, and that's what Wheels for Flying does. And Wheels for Flying has really stepped up here in Colombia and in Austria to challenge that stigma and show that people with disabilities are really capable and they can be really good pilots. And we just need to create an opportunity. We need to create more opportunities. We need to create competitions and all that. That's pretty high level thinking, and it's pretty amazing that there's a group of people that are willing to step into that and challenge it, because not everybody's willing to do that. And I think that's what's really magical when you sum up everything that's going on here, and then you look to Lucho, for example, who's taking on most of the weight. This has to happen smoothly. We can't have accidents. We can't have anything negative. We don't need these negative stories. Like, all that's going to paint, no matter how much we like or dislike it, there's a spotlight on people with disabilities. So if somebody else crashes without a disability, it's another crash. If we crash, it could easily be turned in the direction of, well, it's because they're using a wheelchair. Maybe they shouldn't be up there. Maybe they don't belong. And over the years, we've done a really good job of keeping that at bay. And I think we've proven it at this point. But to take the next level and challenge more barriers, that's what Lucho's doing with Wheels for Flying. I mean, it takes some guts to step out of the comfort zone of yourself and what society's used to. So that's what I think is really special about what's going on here.
Wheels for Flying started last year with this event. It was the first world meet. I mean, we were so happy after last year. I think we all looked forward all year to come back now. And now it's even better than last year. And I think next year is going to be bigger and better. But to be here right now, I can't describe how good it is. We have so many people, so many volunteers, so much love and so much assistance. And we have trackers, we have official race directors, and they're doing it right, and it's so cool. I mean, they're tracking us on the map, they're setting really challenging tasks for us, which I love. I love the task that only one guy has been able to finish so far. That goes to show that it was possible and it was really hard. And I hope they continue like that. So I'm just super grateful with everyone involved.
It's been great. We've been having some awesome flights. The weather has been a little slow to turn on, but it's been wonderful. Having a good time, some nice challenging conditions, and yeah, some killer flights.
So today's task, we did things a little bit different than we've done in the past. This is all new, and we're trying to figure out what's the best way to make this work for wheelies. So we shortened it a little bit. It's 16.5K or something right around there. And we're doing a group start. So we're no longer doing it when it's just individual timing. We're actually going to race to goal. That way, we're hoping to keep us all together so we can fly together and properly race throughout the whole course. What we're doing is we're launching here at the same place we've been launching every time. The main LZ is goal, like it's been every time. And in between, we're going from here to Santa Elena. Santa Elena, slightly northeast to another cylinder to tag. Then back to Santa Elena, and then home stretch back to the main LZ here. So the way it's all set up and the way we're doing the timing, we're hoping there's going to be more of us in the goal, high-fiving and smiling in the end.
We're just getting ready for our task today. It's the weather's a little bit questionable, but we want these boys ready to go when our window opens up.
So I didn't make it to the goal. I went back because of the rain, but it's really beautiful, and yeah, I did half the race and I'm very happy to be here now.
Ah ouais, ça va tomber, ça va se déchaîner quoi.
It's so black.
So dark.
So dark.
Et ça y est, ça commence à tomber.
Great start, got up to the clouds. I was hanging out, waiting for everybody to launch so we could get the race going. But there was a little bit of a storm going on in the south, and when I got high, I saw a little to the north, and then even more what was out west. And all of it joined up, and it's just hitting us now. So we had to cancel the event, get everybody that was in the air on the ground, and make some moves pretty quickly so no pilots are in the air with this, because that's obviously no bueno.
That this event is happening for us, the fact that they've put together this amazing moment for pilots on wheelchairs, it's a great start. It's a great way to start tasting the competition, and I look forward to entering other events that are not made just for us. I want to be able to show up and fill up an entry form and just enter, just like the same way I would rent a car. Like if I make a reservation, if I go on a trip and I rent a car, I don't even tell them I want a wheelchair. I just show up and they hand me the key and they're like, here you go. They just assume that I know how to do it, that I know how to drive since I'm there, otherwise I wouldn't be there. So I would love to see a similar thing in paragliding. You just show up to an event, do the event, and you know, I would hire a crew or bring some friends along that are willing to land by me and get me back out to the roads or back to base without having to make the organization feel like they have to do extra work to accommodate me. So that's the goal.
My goals as a pilot, I mean, number one is just to have fun and like be a part of a community and to be outside. I mean, most of my 20s I was outside climbing and adventuring, and so like my goal is just to continue to have like adventures in my life. And this organization, Wheels for Flying, has really opened up a new chapter of like traveling international and paragliding and meeting people from all over the world.
Yeah, the goals side of things when it comes to paragliding and life in general, that's like, it's changing all the time, right? Like when I started paragliding, I was really gung-ho, flying cross country, traveling into as many places as I could. I was only like 4 years out from my spinal cord injury, so I was still learning how to live my own life with a spinal cord injury and be as independent as possible. And so it was a driving force for my own personal life. The things I was learning through paragliding was creating more independence in my everyday life. But I was pretty focused on, I really wanted to be a good, safe paraglider, not a good, safe, adaptive paraglider, right? And so I wanted people to, I wanted to be viewed as somebody who was a good pilot. And I didn't want it to be because of my disability. And I'd say now, like as time's gone on, so that was like trying to fly cross country, flying in more intense conditions, having really good mentors that were helping me learn that process. That was key. And you know, my speed flying accident happened, it was 100% my fault for a lot of different reasons. And so my initial goals was become a good pilot by learning slow, learning from mentors, and doing it the right way, having patience, enjoying the process. Then once I kind of got some skills under my belt, then it kind of turned into, let's try to fly far, let's see what cross country is all about, what can I do through that whole thing. Now, honestly, like a lot of that's gone, and not in a bad way. I'm like, I just want an adventure, I want to smile, I want to take off, I want to land safe, I want to have fun with my friends, I want to be around the community. And if we go out and we have a good time and everybody's safe, I'm stoked. I mean, I'll set goals for what we want to do in the day, but I'm not like chasing it like I used to. Like it's a totally different game now.
Our goal is to try to involve some sponsor that really can help. Now we are getting very big and we have a lot of problems. Like we have to find money in order to buy chairs. We need, for example, now 3 chairs in Europe, and we need 2 chairs in Cuba, which we are opening Wheels for Flying Cuba, another project. So, and we need 2 chairs here. Every chair normally, they are really expensive. They are expensive. The flying chair we are talking about 5,000 euros, 4,000 something. And of course then there are glider and everything. Until now, what we did, we self-sponsor the project. It didn't exist. We want to do something really, really, really big. So we had some reality, like Crist Croce in the States. There is another different system in the States. In Europe, it's much more difficult. It's very difficult to receive help, but we are really, really, really confident that we'll find a good sponsor that will take care of this project with us, and cooperate.
Paragliding gives, I mean, it almost sounds cliche, but it's like total freedom, you know, like getting a chance to be in the air by myself. I mean, I love being with other pilots, but those moments of just like being close to clouds and being with birds and kind of being independent is, it's like a freeing feeling. And, you know, being in a chair can sometimes, you know, you don't feel so free. And that feeling is, it kind of is, it's really mind-blowing and kind of heartwarming, and it kind of cracks you wide open.
You know, it's a really cool thing because paragliding, it's a long journey that we all enjoy, and we should take slowly, like the long learning process. And now that I've been flying on the wheelchair, I'm flying better than I was flying before my injury because I've put in more time and I have grown, I have matured. And it's just really satisfying, and it makes me really happy to know that I've been able to continue my progression despite the injury. It's really an amazing thing.
So what paragliding gives to me as a person is a whole big bunch of things. For me, it's my therapy. It's a foundational piece of my life. It allows me to have access to the freedom that, you know, I always wanted before my accident, and I'm able to continue to have that through my accident. And it's a big blessing, because if I didn't have the ability to fly, I really don't know where my life would be at. It's been a life-saving thing for me. I mean, like I said, it's my therapy. It's my everything. It's what keeps me going. It's what allows me to be the best husband and father that I could be. You know, it's when I got put into this wheelchair, a lot of people don't realize that, you know, somebody coming from a life that's full on all the time, action sports, traveling, to being confined in a wheelchair, it's like a prison sentence, you know. We get put in these chairs, and it's the littlest things that you don't realize until you're in a chair, you know, how a curb can be inhibiting you to access something. There's so many barriers, and then getting in that chair and taking off and going flying, all those barriers disappear. I'm just like a normal person out there flying. I'm flying with the best of them, you know, not limited in any way. And it's a pretty amazing thing. I haven't really been able to find much else that could compare to the level of independence it gives me. So it's a blessing. Love it.
I would like to add that maybe more people could come and try to learn to fly, that this is super nice. Also to help us to keep on going, to keep on helping the guys, keep on flying and keep on having fun. I think that this is very, very special for them, for us also, but for sure we need always a bit of support, and that would be super nice that more people can get involved and help us to make it even bigger and bigger, so more people are getting more happy about this. That would be very nice.
And I really have to say thank you to all the supporters here, all the volunteers. I understand that most of the people don't understand. They think we get paid from somewhere else. No, we pay our ticket, we come here, we pay our hotel, we pay everything. And the volunteers, they're supposed to be in holiday, so flying holiday, they are pilots. They give their time because they love the project, so luckily, and they help a lot. This is a huge help. Without the help of the volunteer, it would be impossible to see what you guys see in television or in the magazine or something like this. So it's only because of this love that we received, that those guys received from everybody, that is possible. So if it was only commercial things, it couldn't work. It's based on love and volunteering.
I just want to take the opportunity as well to say thank you to Wheels for Flying and all the great people they are working for Wheels for Flying. Because without you guys, I would not be here in Colombia, and I would not have flown just right now and landed here on this great spot.
Okay, so here's a gratitude moment for you. Look down the line, look at all these pilots that are here from all over the world. None of this would be possible without the organizers. Even further, none of this would be possible without the donors. We did a GoFundMe right before this, and it raised almost $17,000 to be able to provide transportation and all the support that we needed, and a number of other different things to organize this event. Without all of that, and without the organizers, you would not see a bunch of wheelies from around the world gathering here today. So our level of gratitude is next level to have this experience.
You know, as someone that didn't have really a roadmap for people in front of me that had dealt with something similar to my mobility challenges, I just would like to invite people to come try it. I mean, come be around it, come see it. I mean, if it's a tandem flight, that's all you wanted to do, amazing. If you wanted to come just watch it, it's a beautiful sport. And so I think I just like the idea of it, like an invitation for people to come and check it out.
if you spend some time in a body that's not working in the way you'd like it to work, I think that if we can get somebody into the flying chair and get them up into the sky, you know, we've gotten past getting them up and walking. They're flying, right? So I think adaptive flying is something that can benefit anybody of all ability levels. Okay, you know, I don't like to say disability. You know, people of all different ability levels can get in the chair and fly, whether it's tandem or they want to take lessons. And I think it's just a whole nother sense of freedom, you know? We're flying, baby. We're flying. It's great.
In third place from the US, Joe Stone. And in second place from Switzerland, Danny.
Yeah, Dan.
And in first place, flew very consistently, massive progress from last year,